I invite Mr. David Moyer, Counselor for Education and Culture Affairs, U.S. Embassy, New Delhi, to provide a few remarks on success of culture diplomacy between India and the United States through the Fulbright program. Can we have a round of applause, please?
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. And first of all, my congratulations to Navina and her family. It's lovely to see that her sons and her mother are here supporting her. And as we all know, it often takes a family to make great impact and be successful. So congratulations, Navina. On behalf of the U.S. Embassy and the Fulbright Board here in India, of which I'm a member, again, I offer you my congratulations and our appreciation, because the Fulbright is the most elite and prestigious scholarship the U.S. government has to offer. And I often joke that as we select the people to participate in the Fulbright program, as you can imagine, we get thousands of applicants, and it's very difficult to choose, but we often find people that are going to do amazing things, regardless of whether they get the Fulbright scholarship or not. And we attach the Fulbright name to them as we watch them rise, and we appreciate the credit we get as administrators of the Fulbright program, but the reality is it is often overshadowed by the individual talents of the Fulbright grantees themselves. And Navina is certainly emblematic of that. She has done amazing things long before and long after the Fulbright program, but we are just privileged and honored that she continues to be an ambassador for that program. And again, having the foreword written by her Fulbright counselor from the United States, that's just, again, symbolic of the impact that that program had. And again, it's not just about what the Smithsonian or what the United States provided to Navina. It's about cultural exchange. She undoubtedly shared a number of her experiences and formed a bridge with all of those interested in coming to India. I have the privilege of living here, so I'm not a tourist, but as I explore India, and I've been in the country now for 4 years, there's just too much to see. Even in 4 years' time, I've seen very little. But I can honestly say one of my most memorable evenings of my 4 years in India was spent with Navina as I went on one of her heritage walks, along with my spouse and some visitors from Washington. And as we kind of toured the back alleys of Delhi, I was just fascinated. I learn and I appreciate learning about history and culture, not by going through a beautiful museum or reading a book, but by hearing the stories and hearing someone who is passionate about that heritage explain it to me as a foreigner. And Navina did such an amazing job, but I have to say, she's almost too good at her job. Throughout the evening that she was explaining the history of these alleyways and the music we were hearing, she often overshadowed the experiences that she was talking about. She herself, as we all know, is a living embodiment of heritage and culture herself. And I kept finding more and more interesting facts as she would talk about her experiences here and there, all around the world, and certainly across India. I became more and more fascinated with her as an individual as much as the cultural heritage that she was explaining to me. So when I had the opportunity and I was invited to speak tonight, I was certainly enthusiastic because, again, she left such an indelible impact upon me just on that one heritage walk. And so I was excited, but I'm also a little nervous, is how do you capture in a book all that Navina is? With her enthusiasm and exuberance, I just hope that the book can inspire other scholars, other students, and the next generation of those that are working to preserve and make heritage part of all of our lives. So I hope that that book can do that. But again, it's so difficult to take Navina's personality, enthusiasm, and encapsulate that in a book. So I hope that it's successful. Again, I would also just kind of mention, last week was an amazing week for heritage and culture here in Delhi in particular, as UNESCO hosted its 46th meeting here. On the margins of that very successful meeting, I know India was able to achieve an inscription, as was the United States, from actually my home state of Pennsylvania. But on the margins of that, my ambassador signed a cultural property agreement with the Secretary of Culture. And again, they got a lot of positive attention. I know a lot of work was put into that agreement. So that's the foundation of hopefully a lot of other work. But by preserving and protecting cultural property, that paves the way for the next important phase of showcasing that, which is people like Navina who can then take that cultural property, that heritage, and put it into context. And again, as a foreign visitor and guest in this country, I have just been astonished at what I've seen in these 4 years, and I still have so much to see. But again, people like Navina who embrace it and make it personal helps me as a foreigner appreciate it even more. So again, my deepest congratulations on behalf of the Fulbright Board here in India and the U.S. Embassy. And it's just an honor to be a small part of this evening's event and to, again, have the personal experience I had with Navina. So congratulations and best of luck in the future. Thank you.